think we did some Dune stuff, a Dune cinematic, because we had a supervisor, Aaron Powell.
Oh, Aaron Powell. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, who was from Westwood. And I think that on that Dune cinematic, we used the first piece of mocap ever that we'd ever used.
Yeah, so many memories of that stuff. But
there's a lot of cinematics in the past. But that was at Blur after I'd gone to work at ImageWorks, which was only like 70 people when I started.
I was friends with the producers. I don't know why, because I was like 14 at the time, but I was friends with George Bard and all these guys who were producers at Activision. And again, it's just so weird to look at that, because I remember like Gabe Newell and all these people like Cliff Brzezinski, they used to reply to my emails when I was a little fucking kid. I'm sure they have no idea who the hell I am now, but like at the time it was just so weird how small the industry was. But I remember Dark Rain was one of the cinematics you guys did. And I remember them complaining at the time how expensive Blur was, but it was more that they just don't understand how much fucking work goes into this stuff.
It's true. Dave Wilson has a thing from when he was in South Africa, and he wrote to Tim Sweeney. He was like a kid in high school wanting to do games. Tim Sweeney answered his email, as did, and then Cliff later, when we had when Blur was more established. But these guys, you had access to all those folks. Ed Catmull came down to the studio one time, and it's just quoted like, I'm not worthy. I felt like I was giving the admiral of the fleet a tour of my shrimp boat. But it's funny because he had this little smile on his face, and I said, what are you smiling at? And he goes, I remember when it was like this. I think we were probably 50 or something like that, 50 people, versus whatever Pixar was at the time, 3,000 or something crazy like that, where it's just a different vibe. I kind of like every stage of growth at Blur. It was cool when it was 3 of us, and it was cool when it was 12 of us, and it was cool when it was 60, and it's cool now, even though I sometimes don't know everybody's name.
I mean, again, it's to a scale. I swear, if you had a family that big, you're still going to forget the names. Essentially, you've nurtured so much talent that's come through the studio, and again, like you still have so much phenomenal talent there that continues to, the reason why you guys are doing amazing stuff is because you have this huge talent base. But I remember Daniel Ferreira, if you remember him, like he's, I think he's a VFX suit for Sega in Japan now, but like we used to joke around like Blur is like a gym. You go there whenever you want to like get buff, because it's a place that's going to push you, versus there's certain places where it's like you hire talent from bigger studios that they're a bit softer. It's kind of the opposite. It's like they've been eating potato chips the whole time instead. I like a place that like creatively, as well as just in terms of cutting the bullshit, like it'll push you to be a better artist. And like that, to me, Blur has always been that.
I'm very proud of like all the people that have come through here. There's a few people that didn't enjoy the experience or are bitter. I can honestly say that we've always tried to do our best by everybody, but you can't make everybody happy. But the vast majority of the people that leave say it was one of the best places they ever worked. And I just got a nice email from one of the compositors today that said, I've worked at a lot of studios, and this is the best one. And a lot of other nice words. And he wasn't just kissing my ass. It just came out of nowhere. And we just brought back one of our animation supervisors that left 10 years ago to go to Disney, and people come back, and we're working with Jeremy Cook again because he's down working on a game for Wizards of the Coast, but cool. We're working with him. And so there's people that come back into our lives, and it's really great. Jeff Fowler, who directed Sonic, his desk is still right next to mine, right here. He won't let me give it away to anybody else. So I'm pretty I get a little teary. I'm pretty proud of that sort of family feeling that we've had over the years. But I don't. But sometimes I read people go, "Yeah, it was the hardest place I ever worked." We had a little bit of a sweatshop rep when I was in charge, creative director. But I think it's better now. But I always think that there's that sweet spot of if you don't have a little bit of push behind it, if you don't have a little bit of pressure, nobody ever makes their best work with too much time and too much money. It just doesn't lead to clever solutions. It just doesn't add that little friction that you need to, come up with interesting solutions. So I don't, it's just, you got to find out what the difference between asking the impossible or asking merely difficult is. And it's not for everybody. And sometimes people want that easy job. This will never be that, but I feel good about it because it's not easy because we're trying to make more money or something like that. It's not easy because we're trying to push the bar and do more creative work.
A place that's going to make you better is, it says it all just right there. A place is going to push you to go from being mediocre to great or good to great. That's what you should strive to do. Like, I've had people email me where it's like, I just want a job where I was going to push a button. I shouldn't need to do all this extra work. And it's like to rationally break that down, it's like, well, yeah, you could get a job where you're going to push a button, but eventually, like, you will become that button. And what happens when there's a cheaper button or whatever? Like, you want to push, like, you want to, just as a human being, you want to strive to be better. And if you go to a place that's going to lower the bar rather than raise it, then, like, what's going to happen? You're going to go in decline.
People want to be challenged, but
yeah.
I won't mention studios, but occasionally people will leave. Let's say it's a character modeler, and if you have 45 days to do a hero character here, I'm just making that up. Character modelers watching the show, don't hold me to that. And then someplace else, you get 120. Those people aren't happy, right? So what does that really mean? Is you look back on a year and find that you created one third the number of characters you could have created. And if you're a person that likes to achieve, likes to be proud of the work, then you don't have as much to be proud of. And that's why I always like waiting tables. Waiting tables is a great job. Why? Because you're constantly engaged, you're busy, you're active. If I was working in a toll booth or something, well, maybe I'd be reading a book there and that'd be all right. But you know what I mean? Those jobs that you've had, I was a lifeguard for a while, and looking at girls in bikinis is great. But after a while, you're like, fuck, this is boring. And then I'd rather wait tables, which doesn't make sense. Anyway, you get the idea.